This is Married at First Sight, episode 32. With Kia basically was like, yo, babe, so let me give you the tea. Yeah, so not only did Julia-Ruth end up deciding that she's gonna fly out to Lanzarote for 48 hours. So Joel's already gone to Lanzarote for a week. Julia-Ruth has flown out, get bedded, get binned, and then got the girl to come up here with the glow up to like, yeah, everybody, this is what happened. I was like, is that the tea? Leigh at the girls' night kissed Leisha on the lips, and there was like 2 kisses. Why is Leigh being so disregarding of Leah's feelings? Like, she's trying to let you know how she feels about something and what her boundaries are, the same way that you have been banging on about your boundaries this whole time and you're not prepared to listen to what she's saying. It's fine, you can have bants and stuff. And even Leah's just like, come on, Bailey. Like, come on, man. He's like, I'm just saying that, like, there are certain things which I think go a little bit too far. What go on, people, thems. So this is Married at First Sight, episode 32. This is the aftermath of what has got to be the most insane Married at First Sight UK episode that you've seen thus far, because I, like, even today, like, having seen that episode, having now seen, that was Sunday's episode, having seen Sunday's episode, having watched now Monday's episode, having now edited Sunday's episode, I still can't quite get over what we saw on Sunday. Like, the term moving mad, I don't think it's ever been more applicable. Like, moving mad.
Genuine question, is everyone fucking crazy?
This season, this series is just moving mad. Like, I don't understand. In comparison, I think the dinner party was quite tame, to be honest. I did love the fact, though, that it started with Kia and David. Yeah. With Kia basically was like, yo, babe, so let me give you the tea. Yeah, so not only did you end up deciding that she's gonna fly out to Lanzarote for 48 hours, so Joel's already gone to Lanzarote for a week. Julia-Ruth has flown out, get bedded, get binned, and then got the girl to come up here with the glow up to like, yeah, everybody, this is what happened. I was like, is that the tea? So it wasn't like it was an actual relationship. So he said, I'm going to Lanzarote. So there must have been messaging and stuff. I'm going to Lanzarote. I can't remember whether he said, oh, you should come, or she said, maybe I should come. But either way, it came to the point of being like, okay, cool. She jumps on a plane for 48 hours, sleeps with him, and then flies back because she never hears from him again. Doesn't hear anything from him. And I'm just like, I know that people are going to call out mental health. But when do you take accountability for your own actions then? Because my friend said to me today, there's something about, I don't know how true this is. Like, so he said something about there's claims now that I think she's saying something along the lines of the edit or something. I don't know. I've not seen that myself, so I don't know how true that is. So that's just what he's read, but I don't know where he's read that from. But even if that's not the case, if someone's going to turn around and be like, oh, you put me in a bad light, you've painted me out, I'm sorry, yeah. Unless there is some kind of like hidden gun to your head, like, or like someone has done a taken and they got your family, I don't understand how anybody can make you sit down there and so boastfully be like, yeah, well, I've got the tea. Do you know what I mean? Like, you strutted and strolled into that dinner party, those mixes. Yeah, you've come in big and strong and bad. You wanted to own it. You said the gloves are off. You know, you're back to Juicy Roo and all that kind of stuff. Like, failing to see whether coercion was here. Like, you're a grown person able to make grown people decisions. So you can miss me with that. Like, I don't know what's gonna come out about that. But if anything does come out about that, I will be strongly saying you need to go and sit down, because I'm not listening to none of that. No one, you can't make me believe that someone's made you behave that way. Like I said, it doesn't matter how much money you're gonna offer me. Like, believe you me, I could do with some of them funds right now. I can do with some of that money, but you still wouldn't make me get out there and like betray myself, like like the way that my mom raised me, when my dad's raised me. Like, I'm gonna come on here and it'd be some kind of callous, cold-hearted, like ignorant, selfish, bad mind, like arrogant. Like, no thanks, no thanks. You can keep your money. I don't want none of that. If that's a price for fame and notoriety, I'd rather not. So yeah, I'm still not over that episode, man. Like, and she'll always be that girl. That's the thing. I don't know. Like I said yesterday about her, I don't care what you want to do, help no sick kids. Like, look, do all the good deeds you want to do all the growth you want to do, but it's not going to erase what there is now a digital footprint for.
And what you don't understand, and I say this with as much humility as I possibly can, what you don't understand is that the internet never forgets.
Do you know what I mean? But like I said, it's not just her. Do you know what I mean? Like, Joe gets the exact same, and I think if anything, yeah, I mean, I'm thrown by Julia-Ruth, but I feel probably even more let down by Joe, because I went to bat for him. I actually even said the term, "This is the hill I'm willing to die on." Yeah, when we were talking about, and I was talking to my best mate about him and Maeve, and I still stand by some of the things I was saying but actually, no, I can't even say I still stand by them, because if you're able to do this, it calls into question everything you've ever said. Everything you've ever said. Like, the reasons that you went away, like how you went about doing that, like how do you, like, again, I don't know him personally, so my interest is literally only in as far as I'm watching the show and reacting to it. But as a viewer that, had him, my hands look so dry. Oh god. If you can see how, you can't tell how dry my hands are from there. If you're gonna be that person, yeah, then realistically, if you're able to do the kind of thing where you can literally jet on a plane with Julia-Ruth, like, of all the people, like, that you could go and do whatever you're doing with, someone that Maeve knows, someone that Maeve chilled with, and it's like, why would you rub that in her face and then to go and be intimate? That's the other thing. I know that, like, the physical act of love is not important to everybody, but for someone who you claim to love, who clearly, loved you and let the walls down, like, I just, I'm just struggling, and then to be like, I want to come and see you, like, I've missed you, and stuff. Like, what are you doing? Like, who? Like, I swear, some of these people are literally like sent from the gates of hell. Because why would you want to inflict that kind of harm and hurt to someone who you've already inflicted so much harm and hurt? Like, there's, again, I know we only see a pinch of the footage and stuff in. Like I said, I was in your camp. I was just like, no wonder you didn't want to come home. But, like, you're genuinely going to do that. Yeah, it calls into question everything. So anyway, that's the episode from before. That's the episode before. But this episode is about the dinner party that's going to come. So there's this thing in the air. Like, Leah and Leigh aren't talking because they showed that Leigh at the girls' night kissed Leisha on the lips, and there was like two kisses. So there was one where Leisha leant in to give Leigh a kiss on the lips. It was like a peck, and then Leigh was like, "Oh, do you want to try that again?" Like, did it? I guess it just bounced or whatever, but she went in for a kiss again, and again it was just a kiss on the lips. And Leah's point is saying that, like, it's a double standard, because if she had kissed Leisha, then Leah would have then Leigh would have lost her mind. And they weren't really talking. And she's like, usually I'd let it go, but I'm not letting it go, because, like, it's kind of the principle for me. But it doesn't seem to be that they're really beefing about it. They're just getting ready. So I don't know whether Leah's actually brought it up with her or what. I don't know. You've got John and Abigail, which again are just happy, they're just so in love and so happy. Bailey and Rebecca, again, thinking about the day before and how things are kicked off. And Kim and David are good. Leisha and Reese. So she's still kind of mithering about the fact that, like, she doesn't know it's gonna come. Like, they've got the final vows coming up, and she's in a limbo, and she doesn't really know what to say or what to do. Like, they've woken up, and he's still not really giving her any reassurances and stuff. Because she's like, I love you. And he's not really responding. And I said yesterday that I do kind of get it, and I think after watching this episode, I do kind of feel a little bit like, I do feel like sorry for her. But I did kind of disagree with the experts a little bit, because I don't know, man. Like, as the day goes on, they all enter. Like, I think it's So Kieran and David come in, Rebecca and Bailey come in, and then it's Leah and Leisha, and then they're talking about it. Like, so David takes Leah and Leisha off to go and talk about what happened, and basically Leah is saying what I said earlier, that like, you know, it's a double standard. Like, you're saying that it'd be a problem if I did that with Leisha, and Lee's like, I can't believe this is even being made a big deal of. It was absolutely nothing. Like, and because it's me, like, and Leisha, it would be nothing. I'm not interested in her. And Leah's like, that's not the point. The point is, if I had kissed her, you'd have gone mad. And he's like, yeah, but I would have gone mad because your interest in her is higher. Do you know what I mean? You've already said that she's your type. And she said, no, I didn't say that she was my type. I said that someone that's a brunette and a sporty girl would be my type. Because you asked me that question. She's like, but like, I'm not interested in her. So they're kind of going around in circles, and Leigh is kind of really just shutting Leah down and not really hearing her point at all. She's just like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same. I don't really understand. Like, you know, and if you feel a type of way about it, then I'm really sorry, but I don't really understand as to why. She continues to be like, oh, whatever. And Leah's like, I don't really understand what the problem is here. Like, just admit that it was a double standard and we could just move past it. And even the experts are like, why is Leah being so disregarding of why is Leigh being so disregarding of Leah's feelings? Like, she's trying to let you know how she feels about something and what her boundaries are, the same way that you have been banging on about your boundaries this whole time, and you're not prepared to listen to what she's saying. David's like, Leah, can you come over here? And she's like, I don't know why this is getting made like a big deal, to be honest. Like, I don't really need, you know, like an intermediary, but whatever. They continue to come to the conversation, and Leigh is still not really getting it. Like, she's not getting the point. She keeps saying that, like, it's not the same. You've got feelings for these two. And then she's like, look, if you really want to do this, let's do it. They end up having a conversation talking about basically all the different things and in which that Leigh feels that Leah has disrespected her, like, throughout the process and stuff. So when it comes to Rebecca and it comes to Leisha. And my thing is, I think it's just, at first, I was like, she's only upset because she didn't get to kiss Leisha, because she's been onto her from day. And I told you that, like, I'd kind of gone off Leah anyway from how she was when they were on Partner Swap. But I think Leigh, as righteous as she can be and right as she can be, like, a lot of the time, I think she missed the mark here, particularly when, like, it got to a bit later on and she was giving advice to Leisha and Reese and trying to explain how Reese had kind of, like, disregarded Leisha's feelings and stuff. And even the experts are like, isn't it funny that, like, Leigh can see, like, she's quite right in what she's saying, in that, like, you're telling Leisha that she shouldn't feel a certain way, but, like, Leisha's telling you how she feels, and you're giving him advice, and Charlene's like, it would just be amazing if Leigh could take her own advice. Because then Leigh and Leah end up they continue to have this beef and this argument, because then when Leisha and Reese come in, she shouts across the room, "Oh, don't kiss me," or whatever, like, making, like, a joke of it, and everyone's like, oh my god, too soon, because again, she's, like, disregarding how Leah feels, and like, they're getting, like, really, like, petty with each other, and at one point Leah calls Leigh an attention-seeking bee, and I don't know, man. Like, Leah's obviously vexed because she's like, I can't be dealing with this. So, like, at the end of the day, if she just, like, owned up to it and let it go, we could have moved on. But the fact that she can't do that, like, it's like, well, why can't you do that? Like, why shouldn't you do that? So anyway, they're all talking about it. Reese is getting a bit, like, because he's like, oh, this is a little bit out of order, really, and he doesn't want the drama anyway, and Leisha is now worried that because there's now drama, that she's going to be pushing Reese away. Reese is talking to Bailey about it, and Bailey's like, you know, it is a bit out of order, really, you know, and to be fair, like, because Reese is like, at the end of the day, when Leigh's talking to Reese, because he's like, I just want to make sure that you're okay and there's no beef and stuff. And he's like, well, is it a bit, like, you know, it's not totally fine. She's like, at the end of the day, you are into girls, and you know, you've kissed my missus. Do you know what I mean? Like, and she's like, yeah, but just to be clear, like, I'm not into your missus at all. Like, it's like, yeah, I get that, but that's not really the point. Like, the point is, you know, I'm not going around kissing, like, you know, any other girls and stuff, like whether I'm interested in them or not, platonically or not. And I do think it raises an interesting question, because even like, you know, around some of my girlfriends and stuff, obviously, like, that's not the tree that I'm barking up. But I can understand that somebody may feel a little bit uncomfortable, like, with someone's hands being all over their partner and stuff, because, yeah, I mean, for me, the other way around, if a girl was doing that with my partner, like, I probably I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I really wouldn't. A guy, um, I think I would feel a way about it. I think I would, like, even if someone said that they're not that way inclined, you know, you don't know. Do you know what I mean? You really don't know, and especially in this 2025, like, even out of the one them that said, you know, no, 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 straight as an arrow. Yeah, all right, mate. So, you know, I don't know whether I'd really want that situation. Like, consist. I don't know. I think it would depend on the friend. It would depend on the partner. It depend on where we are in our relate. Like, there's so many dependents. But, you know, when in doubt, just take hands out. Do you know what I mean? Leave hands out the equation. And it would, to me, it's the sheer. There's an arrogance almost, I think, or a deliberate ambivalence to be like, oh, well, it should be nothing. If someone is saying to you it's something, you should acknowledge that, and you should apologize reservedly. And if you respect that person and respect their relationship, that you be like, I'm really sorry. Like, and if your partner is saying that I don't feel comfortable with that, and the main reason that I don't feel comfortable with it is because, like, you know, you've banged on at me so long about how flirty I am. Like, I just don't think that's okay. And then what was really interesting is then Leah's flirting came up, because then Bailey was like, you know, to be honest, I haven't really appreciated the way that she's been flirting with Beck either. You know, some of the things that they've said, and, you know, about, you know, how hot she is and how she'd sleep with her and how she'd turn her, and then even when they're in the dinner, and like Bailey mentions this, Rebecca's just like, what are you talking about? This is like my best mate. And he's like, yeah, I get that, and that's fine. You can have bants and stuff. And even Leah's just like, come on, Bailey. Like, come on, man. He's like, I'm just saying that, like, there are certain things which I think go a little bit too far. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I get it, because like Bailey said, if I was out here saying the same kind of things about who I'd sleep with, how fit someone was, and like kissing them and all that kind of stuff, you would not be happy about it. And it's almost like, you know, that double standard, because you're women, like, should just be fine because it's one of your girlfriends. But, you know, that's not okay. Like, I don't think it's okay, because I wouldn't do that to you. And at the end of the day, she is into girls. It's not like it's one of your girlfriends who isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, but, you know, she actively is and said that you're her type. So I understand that it may not mean that, you know, she's gonna do something. But, you know, as I said, in this 2025, you just don't know. Look at Paul Ross. Paul Ross thought that Carol had a gym buddy. It turned out that Susan wanted to be her life partner. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you don't know. I personally, as I said, I think that Leigh has kind of got a little bit of a point when it comes to, well, you're massively interested in Leisha. So I feel as though that, you know, that to me would be what, like, far more inappropriate. However, like, you cannot deny the fact that if you don't want someone else's lips on your person, you need to make sure your lips aren't on nobody either. That's just where I sit with it. When they eventually sit down, John and Abigail are, you know, like, declaring their love for each other, and it's really, really heartfelt, man. And, you know, it's nice to see that there are people that have come into the experiment and have genuinely found what they were looking for, because there were nice people who were open. And the kind of things that they were looking for as well was so simple. Like, John was like, I wanted someone that wasn't afraid to smile, and someone with some curves. And she was like, like, the best thing for me is when I turned around and I saw those bright blue eyes. She's like, you know, I just, whatever happens in life, I know it's going to be okay, because we're going to do it together. You know, wherever, like, we'll find somewhere to live, we'll plan that, we'll have our children, you know, whatever life throws at us, it's going to be fine, because it's you. And all those failed relationships and stuff, they had to happen to lead me to you. You know, it was just, you've got all this nonsense with Julia-Ruth booking a 48-hour round trip to Lanzarote only to get absolutely like deaded off. And you know, and all that Efriz and Joe and just so much mix up and blend. And then you got those two who are just like so acrimonious. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just beautiful. So they're really good. As I say, the Leah and Leigh situation like continues to be frosty when the last kind of golden, is it got the golden box truth, that the honesty box comes out, and Kieran David, I think Kia asks, you know, what are you worried about in terms of what happens on the outside, and David's like, that I may not be enough for you, and that like you know, that we'll grow apart because I can't keep up with your lifestyle and stuff. And I think it's a shock to everyone that like David was feeling that way because they've been so tight the whole time. And even the experts are like, I wonder how long he's been kind of waiting to speak on that. And I think Kia was really like, in my last reaction, I did say that, like, you know, he was going on all bougie about David's place and stuff with the cats and all that. But I did feel as though he gave a really he got down to his level, and he reassured him that it's like, listen, if my world, like, doesn't fit you, then my world needs to change. He's like, because you are everything to me, like, and I thought that was really endearing and confirming about his feelings for him as well. So that was really nice to see as well. That was really cool. Leisha and Reese, like, the majority of the evening has been centered around him getting to the point of like feeling something more for her and giving her more reassurance and stuff. So when Leigh was giving her that advice, when Leigh was giving them that advice to say, oh, you know, Leisha is telling you how she feels, and you're telling her that that's just not how she should feel. But I can understand what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that, like, I understand. It's almost like, I understand that, like, you're that you need more and stuff. But like, aside from me smothering you, like, I don't know what more I can really give you, because this is as much as I can give. And you know, it's interesting that he's trying to say that, like, because I think who was it was saying, oh, maybe if you were to tell her that, you know, that everything's going to be fine and that you just need like a good run without any arguing and stuff, without any craziness, and that's going to help you to get to that love stage a lot easier. And like, you know, tell her that. Is like, yeah, you know what, I will. And he's probably going to start being like, yeah, okay, cool, like, you know, I'm gonna really reassure her on that. And it's kind of like being thrown back in his face, because then she's like, you know, I don't feel reassured by you. You are a closed book. You don't reassure me what I need. And it's like, I don't know what more he can really say, because he said as much as I think anybody would say that cannot say the love word yet. Like, I don't know if I feel that for you. Like, I hope I will get to that point. I feel like I could get to that point, but all these things that make you like spin out because you're not getting exactly what you need. Like, she's like, oh, I need me to be the only priority in your world. Like, I am the only girl, like, in that's like you've got eyes for, and I'm number one priority, and I just don't feel like I am. I feel like I'm the bottom priority. And he's like, I just don't think that's fair. And again, from what I'm seeing, I don't think it's fair either. Obviously, the experts are like, oh, you know, he's not responding to certain things, and there's just silence when she says certain things, and I'm just like, I can understand why, because it's like, I feel like I'm getting it from all angles, because nobody wants to see unrequited love. It's the worst thing ever. That one-sided, I feel so bad for you. But you know, her feeling as though she can't be herself, like, you know, with this whole, you know, she kissed one of her friends, and, you know, or the fact that, like, she might do something that's going to push him away. Like, what that says is that you might not be compatible, because your crazy is someone else's unique, niche, absolute lovable traits about you. So sometimes you're just not compatible with someone, because there are certain things, like I said, I keep going back to that butter, like, that would drive me mad. Sorry, that's not for me. And I think Leah said the same thing. Like, the things that you do that would drive me mad as well. But I don't think Reese should be made to feel bad, because he's clearly saying that, like, if those things continue and these are things that I don't want, like, it's like, and he's got good reason. My last relationship, it was all about the bickering. I don't want that. I don't think he can be made out to be such a bad person. You know, I think Leisha, if I'm honest, is a bit much. And you know, for the right person, she won't be. She'll be just enough in all the right spades. But I think for someone like Reese, I don't know. I would be surprised if, on the balance of everything, he goes, yeah, like let's make Edinburgh to Essex work with all the crazy. But stranger things have happened. But I've long since learned that it doesn't really matter what happens at the final vows. What matters is what happens 3 months after, 6 months after, a year after. So we'll see. And then Rebecca and Bailey, they have this whole thing about questioning whether Bailey, like, do you think that the intensity of the experiment and us not being in it physically will alter when we get out? And he takes a while to answer, and he's like, yeah, maybe like things could alter and things could change because we're not, you know, we're not seeing each other every single day, and we're not in that environment, and like, you know, and there I was like, oh my god, like absolutely, like no reassurance there. That's a terrible response, and I think I'll be listening to the same thing. Like Rebecca's been basically saying the same thing for ages. Like, you know, what's gonna happen, and you know, it's gonna be awful. It's not being together, and I don't know what's, you know, what the future's gonna be. Like she's been alluding to the same thing. So you know, they're making it sound like he just ripped the floor from underneath both their feet. Like, because Rebecca's like, you know, I've never heard Bailey speak like that. But you've like, what is the outcome then? Like, if you're both not willing to move, like, and you're both talking about that long distance and, you know, long term is not going to be forever. Like, surely somebody somewhere must have gone, there's a possibility that this might not last then. Like, I don't know if anyone else thought the same thing. But I thought, why is everyone going so crazy about this obviously logical thought process that the man has just had? Like, didn't understand that at all. I think that's all of them. So, the next episode, which tonight now, is going to be, you know, who makes it to final vows. You got John and Abigail. You've got John and Abigail. You've got Leisha and Reese. And Leah and Leigh as well. So we'll see what happens. I don't think Leah and Leigh are going to make it, to be honest. They've not even like had a full-on intimate, you know, moment. I mean, like, so I think that in itself, after such a long time, with everything else, I'm calling that. Leisha and Reese, I think she would commit. But I don't think he will. And with John and Abigail, I can see that like they're trying to make a bit of drama. You know, oh, you know, is love enough to come on? Do you know what I mean? That's just like saying, you know, was Bambi part of Disney? Yes, he was. Do you know what I mean? Like they're going to get married. Come on. So yeah, man, that's what happens tonight. But yeah, I still want to see what happens when there's like a reunion. I know they had a mini one there, but like one when everything's wrapped up and everything's done. I want to know what's happened since, and like I want to be part of that juice, like one final piece of juice before I hang up my MAFS reaction hat and be like, right, okay, cool, it's been fun, I've enjoyed it, but no more. I say this like, but when the episode finished yesterday, it started onto MAFS Australia, and I think it's season 12, and I'm like, because I was watching it as I was editing, so there's probably some bits that I've missed, but there's one guy on there like who he's a bit odd. Like I don't quite understand him, and it looks like he's gonna like leave his missus already, because he really wants like an old school wife, and like believes in the man in the briefcase and taking the hat off and all that kind of stuff. And then and she's got some really obnoxious sister, like like to the point where I thought this can't even, it's like a parody of Married at First Sight. Like what is going on? Like the sister was diabolically awful. And then you've got the ginger lady who I think has never felt attractive, and then her husband basically has now seen her and wants to leave already. So that's pretty terrible. And then you've got the couple who used to date a year ago and have now rekindled somehow. So yeah, I may not be reacting to that, but I am going to be watching that, I think, as well, just in the meantime. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are, and I guess what's going to happen tonight, and who you think is going to make it, who you think won't. If you did enjoy this reaction, then do drop me a like and subscribe. That'd be great. Thank you very much. And if you don't want access to my reactions before they come to YouTube, then please do head over to my Patreon, which is a great way to help support the channel, and it's a great way to connect with me more as well. But for now, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.